Uncanny Legends is one of the Legend sagas present in the Battlecats. It has 49 chapters, most consisting of 6 stages. The stage design is fine and mostly fun to play. I will admit there's some problems that I really don't mind. That is for one exception from the final chapters that are from Cat Chasing Village to Between Truths and Lies, which I feel like I need to talk about. But if I want to give you an understanding on why I have problems with these 3 chapters, I need to give you a summary of all 18 stages, starting with Pit House Academy is the first stage in Cat Chasing Village. It starts with a Memost and a Crockley, before another Memost with a Lorius appears, and after that it's just dual Squirrels. Local Harvest Forecast starts with a few Lobombas before hitting the base with 2 Autumns and a Lorius spot with more Lobombas spawning afterwards. In Claypot Soul Food, there are a few Echogories in the start before an Echo Elephant spawns with 2 Allhorns that spawn at different times. Cheese Smoking Area opens with some Baron Bunnies, Puffington, and other relic peons, and when the base is hit, a Dober with another Puffington spawn. Rest Stop Sacrifice consists of Raging Gories with some non-worthy peons at spawn before a normal Bunbun and a Golem Sunfish spawn together when the base is hit. And the final stage of the chapter, Out of This Village, consists of continuous Honeywood 1 spam with an Alien Nyanna as the boss with a Lorius and Puffington. Then, after about 80 seconds, another Puffington spawns. Nothing bad so far. The chapter starts with Stylus Monenico, which has 3 Merlions, some Boars, and Honeywans as the main threat. Standby Motel starts with only Aku Doges, and once you hit the base, Aku Gories and Midnight despawn, along with 2 Old Horns that spawn at different times. Wait a minute, didn't we just have that exact same concept, the exact same traits as Claypot Soul Food, which is just the previous chapter? Probably just a coincidence. Anyways, Avid Jazz Cafe starts with some Hanyo ones and Relic Squirrels for Relic Bumbum with some alien peon spawn. Interesting as this is the first stage to ever include Relic Bumbun in a non-boss stage, since you always basically fight this guy alone. But this time he has actual support. I wonder what other Relic Bumbun stages we'll get next. But yet, in Retreat of the Living Dead has a surge base with some Relic Doges and a Zombie Kangaroo at the start before hitting the base, which spawns with another Relic Sunfish. Even though we just saw him last chapter. Well, I guess it does kind of make sense since most loves were using new enemies for a few chapters in a row, and Relic Sunfish was just added 2 chapters ago, so it makes sense, but pretty weird nonetheless. Yet in Titanic Steakhouse looks more the same, just starting with some Serbius kids and Doge spam before Akukoi and Autumn. Wait a minute, didn't we just see Autumn a chapter ago? It's been a really long time since we've gone to fight Autumn 2 chapters in a row, but really weird nonetheless. Yet in the final stage, Independence Day, we see new enemy Chibanil along with some peons, a Johnny Leon, and okay, this can't be right. There's something going on here. We just had Mouse in the last chapter, and we see him again with the same plan to Autumn, dual Old Horns, and Relic Sunfish. I guess lowkey hasn't appeared yet, and Relic Bumbun came back after imminent disaster, but this does not look promising. Let's hope the next chapter is better than this. We start at Full Stop Valley, where another Lorius appears. I guess it is an aspect since we didn't get in the Lorius last chapter, but when we hit the base we see a black Bumbun, and oh dear, another Autumn. We just saw in the previous 2 chapters, and it gets worse because in the next stage, Lorius appears with Sir Metal Seal, which is actually the 3rd time they've done this combo. Another Mouse appears who is such a fun enemy, and get this, in 3 chapters, they made a stage where 2 Old Horns appear at different times. Why is it so repetitive? I mean, at least try to make it look different. Maybe make it so that 3 Old Horns spawn, or make it so that it's only 1 overbuffed Old Horn, instead of introducing the same 2 Old Horn stage lines for 3 chapters in a row. Oh, what's this? Another Relic Sunfish with another Autumn? You know what? I'm not even surprised at this point. But yet we have one last stage to do. In the last stage of this subchapter, Never Ending Footsteps, we see another Relic Bumbun and another lowkey. I guess it's kind of intimidating, but we've just gotten a normal Relic Bumbun stage in the last chapter, so it isn't surprising anymore. I mean, it's just sad seeing the same 7 Relic enemies being used over and over and again, and it's just kind of bad stage design. It makes so many stages just feel the same. But you know what? I actually have an explanation for how this abysmal stage design happened. As we know, the whole gimmick of Uncanny Legends was about the new trait, Relics. We got the ability to remove Cat's abilities against traits. At the beginning, things were going well. A new Relic enemy will be introduced in a few chapters, but after the 18th chapter, Battle in the Bath, that introduced Puffington, there won't be any non-boss or special event Relic enemy, and Relics starting to be used less and less. For example, in DNA Plantation, there wasn't a single Relic enemy, and most of the times only Relic peons were used. This brings us to Nala, when his stage came out, and he was the penultimate legend of the saga, and only 6 chapters were left. Because of this, Paulus wanted to make the last chapters feel like the end by using the saga's supposed gimmicks, relics. But as I mentioned prior, Paulus hadn't made any common relic enemies since Puffington. So Paulus resorted to using the same relic enemies over and over again in the last 2 chapters I talked about. This could have never happened if Paulus stuck onto the gimmick and kept on making more relic enemies after Battle in the Bath. Then Paulus would have had more diversity in those final chapters. I mean, I guess they tried a little bit to add more diversity with Haniwa and Golem Sunfish, but it wasn't enough since they were introduced so late. But at least the last 2 chapters, Humanity Catfight and Sacred Forest, were pretty good, and I am too lazy to actually make a proper conclusion. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and bye.